they're worn out, they're tired, and what you may not know is they're about ready to leave. I'm talking about your pastoral staff. What is happening right now is that across the country, we are having a carousel of pastoral staff members move from one church to another, leaving churches that maybe didn't navigate pandemic very well, maybe are just have gone through a lot of difficulties through the course of the last year, and some of them are leaving because they were planning on leaving before COVID hit, and now that we're on the other side, they're planning on leaving. And my question for you as a pastor is, what are you doing to keep them? And I'm not talking about are you paying them more? I'm not talking about are you giving them more benefits and incentives? What I'm really talking about is, are you treating them the way they deserve to be treated? And are you creating an atmosphere and a culture where they want to be a part of? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. So let's get started. So the big question is this: how do pastors like us who remain focused on the mission of Jesus and serving our communities without being distracted by everything in the world around us, how do we increase our effectiveness while living a lifestyle that doesn't compromise our health, our families, or our personal relationships with Jesus? That's the question this podcast is going to answer. I'm Dr. Brandon Party Cooper, and welcome to the Ministry Hackers Podcast. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the podcast. I hope you're doing well. For those of you who may be new, maybe this is your first time joining us here at Ministry Hackers, my name is Dr. Brandon Party Cooper. I'm the founder here at Ministry Hackers, and I'm so glad that you've decided to join us. What we're trying to do here at Ministry Hackers is we're trying to help you, pastors and ministry leaders, live your dream life in ministry. And we focus on creating atmospheres, creating cultures, and giving you tools that allow you to move closer and closer to that dream life in ministry that God has created for you and is waiting for you to take hold of and start living. And so I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope you are having a great start to your week. You're recovering from Sunday. You're excited about what's happening, and you're getting ready for whatever God has in store for you for the course of this week. Now, I mentioned yesterday that I have come into a partnership with the I've come into partnership with the Life and Leadership Ministries. They asked me to come on several months ago, and we've been working on a new assessment and a new course that's designed specifically for you as pastors and ministry leaders to use for your congregation. And the biggest benefit is that if you use this assessment, you use the course, what it gives you is the ability to understand exactly what is happening in your church, in your congregation, and what they're struggling with. What are the pain points? What are the difficulties and challenges that they're dealing with? And so what I've done is I've worked with the team over there at Life and Leadership Ministries, and on their eDisciple platform, what they've done is they've made available to you as pastors and ministry leaders a free assessment that you can take, that you can look at, that you can familiarize yourself with. And once you do, you will see the value and you will see the incredible opportunity this is for you. Many of you pastor in churches that it's too large for you to sit down and have a conversation with everybody in your church. That's just not realistic. And so really what you're trying to do is you're trying to understand how to minister to your congregation as best you know how. As the Lord leads you and as your team guides you, you try to minister as best you can. But what if you could sit down and have a conversation with every person in your church and be able to see exactly where your congregation is struggling, what areas of life that they're really having a hard time with, what is keeping them from living a fulfilled life? Well, that's exactly what the Leading Life experience does. It's an opportunity for you to create this incredible experience for your congregation to help them take one step closer to living a fulfilled life in Christ, and at the same time equip you with the ability to understand where they're struggling, understand what pain points they're focusing and living through right now, so that you can tailor your pastor, your sermons, your ministries, your small groups, your curriculum, your classes, whatever it is you offer. You can tailor that to the challenges and difficulties and struggles that your congregation is going through. And so you can check it out by going to edisciple.com/pastor. Go there. You can sign up, get the free assessment, see what a report would look like. The best part is, even as your congregation is going through taking the assessments, getting into the course, and starting to live their fulfilled life, you're going to get an aggregated report that shows you the data across the board, your entire congregation. And when you do that, you're going to have insight that you've never had before into the lives of the people in your faith community. And that's going to equip you and give you the ability to reach them in a level that they've never been reached before. And the great part is everything you create from that point on, whether it's a Sunday school class, whether it's a small group, whether it's a Wednesday night service, whatever it is you're trying to create after that, not only are people going to want to be a part of it, but they're going to come in engaging, hungry for more, desiring to be a part, and inviting others to be a part with them. And so, again, go to edisciple.com/pastor, get your free assessment, and see how the Life and Leadership team and myself can help you and partner with you as you reach your congregation and help them live a fulfilled life. Now, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit today. I think I'm getting sick, or my allergies are just kicking my tail. I'm not sure what's going on, but my voice is a little bit cracky, and my nose is a little stuffy. So bear with me a little bit. I'm okay. I'm feeling okay. It's just a little bit of a little bit of something I'm having to navigate through, but that's all right. What we're talking about today is, I think, one of the most vital pieces that is probably not getting enough attention as we come out of this pandemic season. Many of us are starting to feel the need to hang on to our pastoral staff members. They are, as I mentioned, all across the country, pastoral staff are moving. They're going to other churches, they're going to other ministries, and maybe you've already felt it. Maybe you've already lost a staff member along the way in the last few months. And what we're finding is that there are a lot of pastoral staff members who were already maybe thinking about it before the pandemic hit. And because of the situation and the volatility that they found themselves, either they chose to stay because they weren't sure they were going to find a job, a ministry position elsewhere, or they stayed because they felt loyal to you, loyal to the church, loyal to what was going on, and they wanted to continue to lend their hand in the space that they were already in the ministry they were already in the church they were already in with you. But now that we're coming back onto the other side, many of them are reevaluating and asking the question, is it time for me to leave like I felt like it was before the pandemic? And maybe it's somebody that you are okay with losing. Maybe you're looking at your pastoral staff and you're wanting to mix things up and bring some new people in. But many of us are not wanting to lose the pastoral staff that we have, partially because every time we lose a pastoral staff member, we have to go through the process of hiring a new one. And there's always this lag and this time of adjustment and figuring things out. And so it slows down the ministry progress that we have in our churches. And so what I want to do today is I want to help you understand exactly how you can hang on to your pastoral staff and how you can create a culture that they want to be a part of. I've had multiple conversations over the last 2 or 3 months with pastoral staff members in different churches and different places of the country that say that they are ready to be done, partially because of the way they have been treated, the way they've been treated by congregants, the way they've been treated by their lead pastor, partially because they don't feel like they get paid enough, which is always a point of contention for many of us in ministry, and partially because some of them feel like it's been revealed to them through the course of this last year that they're serving in a church that is unwilling to change and adapt and figure out the best way forward, and they want to go somewhere else where they're ready to be a part of a new movement in church ministry. Now, for most of us who are here, we here at Ministry Hackers, we value innovation. We value coming up with new ideas and new approaches to ministry. But even though we value that, it doesn't mean that all of us are actually doing that. And so I want to challenge you as you're looking at your community, your culture, on your pastoral staff team, and ask the question, number one, am I leading my staff in a way that is transformative for them, that adds value to them, and that puts them at a high priority for me? Or am I, as a lead pastor, spending most of my time with newcomers, with people on the fringes, maybe with donors, my higher level donors in the church? Because here's my own perspective. When it comes to your pastoral staff team, especially if you're a lead pastor, They need to get the most time, more time with you than anybody else, and they need to get the best time with you, because they're the ones that are carrying out the ministries of the church. You, as the lead pastor, are the one that they look to, the one that they trust, the one that they lean on, the one that they want to, in some ways, be like. And if they're not getting your attention, they're not getting your appreciation, if they're all they're getting from you is orders and challenges and do this and do this and do this, then a lot of times they pull back, and a lot of times they'll go looking for other opportunities out there that are fitting more for who they are and what they're wanting to do, especially if you have millennials on your team. I talk about this in my book, Millennial Leadership. One of the things that people get frustrated with millennials is that millennials are not loyal to the job they're in. So your pastoral staff members, if they're millennials especially, they're not going to be loyal to the church. They're not going to be loyal even to you necessarily, the way we've seen that in past generations and in past decades. What they are loyal to, though, is they're loyal to those who treat them well. And so, as a pastor, are you treating your staff well? Are you putting them first? Are you investing in them? Are you challenging them, or are you just telling them what to do and holding their hands or holding their feet to the fire when they aren't following through? If that's the case, then you need to rethink how you're approaching your pastoral staff members. The other thing that I want to encourage you is be innovative. Figure out new ways to do things in ministry. Now, there are principles of ministry. There are obviously theology that we stick to. Those things are unchanging. But when it comes to ministry methods, we have to find new ways to approach ministry, new ways to reach people, ways to engage our communities. And your pastoral staff members a lot of times will have the best ideas, will have the most innovative approaches, and especially if you're creating a space where you can collaborate and innovate together, then you will find new ways to do ministry that you've never even thought of. If you're creating an atmosphere where your pastoral staff team can be innovative and can create change, they will want to stay with you, because that's very hard to find in the ministry world. But if you're saying, hey, this is how we're going to do it, and this is the way we want to do it, and we're not going to adjust or do it different ways, most of the time your pastoral staff members are going to leave, because they want to do whatever they have to reach people for Jesus. And they're going to find innovative ways, they're going to find creative ways to do that. And if you're resistant, then they'll go find somebody they can work with and work for that's not resistant, that's going to allow them to be innovative and come up with crazy, new, fun ideas that are outside the box. And so what I want to see, and what I would like to see for you, is that you keep your pastoral staff members that you want to keep, and you create a strong, healthy, vibrant team that's innovative, that is forward thinking, and that is creating an atmosphere where your team is taken care of. Sure, we need to take care of them financially. We need to make sure that their families are okay. We need to make sure that they're having time with their families. We need to make sure that they have all the resources they need to carry out the ministries we're asking them to. All of that's important. But a lot of it is are we creating an atmosphere where they feel the significance of being a pastor in ministry, working alongside you and making a difference in their community? If that's the atmosphere you're creating, and if that's what you're offering them, then you're going to keep your staff members for a long time. There's a lot of turnover in ministry now. Many pastors aren't staying more than 3 years. Some of them no more than 5 years. But a lot of times that's because, as lead pastors especially, we try to hang on to our staff members instead of holding them with an open hand, investing in them, and telling them we appreciate them being on our team. But whenever God calls them elsewhere, we will champion them, love them, and send them off the best way we can. And so what my challenge is for you today is to create an atmosphere where that's the reality. Because what you'll find is when you create that atmosphere, people will leave less. Your pastoral staff members will leave less. They will stay longer because you have figured out a way for them to be loyal to you and to what you've called them to do there in that church, in that community, in that with you in that faith community. So again, we're in this time of a lot of movement, and it's an opportunity for you to prove to your current pastoral staff members that you're wanting to keep, that where you are now is the place for them to be long term, because you value them, you appreciate their innovative attitude and their perspective, and you want to collaborate with them to make a difference in their community and in the church that you serve in together. So that's my challenge. That's my encouragement to you. Again, let me remind you, the folks over at Life and Leadership Ministries have partnered with me. We've created this great tool for you to use to understand your congregation, minister to them most effectively, and to equip them to live their most fulfilled life. Through these 4 core areas that they discover, they can live a life that's more fulfilling, that's happier, that's more engaging, and more in line with what Christ has called them to do. And so I want to encourage you to check it out. Go to edisciple.com/pastor, get the assessment, take it for free, get the report, look at it, understand how it works, and then sign up for the Leading Life experience and let us come in and help you create an experience that's going to change the way you do ministry and change the way your congregation lives their life in a more fulfilled way. Alrighty, hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next episode.